morning strife at Camp Massatators as Jen is a freak and is warming cold pizza. So we do have another round of storms sweeping over us from St. Louis, including some fairly significant lightning risk. So we are actually holding and we're going to take off once this passes, which is giving me a chance to catch up on all the video edits Taters hasn't let me do for the last couple of days. Morning here in Camp Massatators, where apparently my hair has taken on a certain Beethovenish flair. So the worst of the storm was last night, but there were a couple of more waves sweeping down from St. Louis. We don't know for sure that it's done, but it's noon. That's about all I can stand sitting still. Plus, I caught up on all the edits for the last couple of days, so productive time is over. Now we work. So the next few days are going to be a bit of a challenge just because we are on approach to St. Louis. There is one particular area right before the border, which we've been warned we want to pass through earlier in the day. Just take precautions. So we're going to do that with the idea that once we get over to the Katy Trail, everything should be good. As near as I can tell, we did about 4-ish miles extra yesterday, including going out to the Mexican food and coming back. So we have a little bit to get back down to the Mississippi where we pick up the red line. While I didn't really want to be sitting around quite this late, it was actually kind of satisfying to get out early. We were both feeling far better this morning. In addition to the good Mexican food and the shower, we were able to do laundry. Even Jen was admitting that her clothes really needed to be laundered after all the sweat of the last week or so. So we are just feeling all around better. So as of right now, we have about 9-ish hours of daylight left. Our plan is to see how far we can get. That should get us to our usual daily mileage. I've got an eye as far as places that we can stealth camp, probably. And we also have identified where we are sending new shoes, both for Jen and myself. She has been here long enough where hers are starting to give way. And we made a rough plan for how we're going to get through St. Louis. And it's going to be a combination of stealth camping tonight, possibly a hotel or two as we get closer, because the neighborhood right before crossing the river is apparently one we need to take at least a little caution through. Now, of course, all of that is very tentative because we never know when something like the heat wave or the electrical storms is going to throw us off a bit. They're rather big on tattoos and gambling in this fine city. Have the Popeye merch covered. Also, I took my eyes off Jen for all of 10 seconds and she went a different way and ditched me. See, and this is the problem when Jen goes ahead. She doesn't notice things like that. I was just chatting with one of the apparently many local police here and commenting on this weather's actually lovely compared with the heat of the last week or so. I'm making sure you're on video because you keep disappearing. The missing persons report may need an updated what you look like.
Someone was really excited and curious about what we're doing.
So Blondie really wanted to try these steps because she saw them on the map. Unfortunately, it didn't really work yesterday. And in the meantime, if you're thinking the weather is looking worse and worse, it's because there's another one of those red-yellow thunderstorms sweeping around through St. Louis that's going to swing right over us. But we can't even wait it out because it's going to last for an hour plus. Seeing the sights wherever we can. So yeah, it's looking like it's probably going to be nasty, but no electrical activity, so we're going to go. We didn't stop at Chester proper when we were paddling the Mississippi, but Jen thinks she may have run up and used a restroom around here. I swear the bad guy poster they were shooting at was actually a photo of Gary Busey in one of his crime roles.
Matt was up ahead and just flagged me down. He found the coziest little break spot ever. And, wait for it. It even comes with a turtle.
That turtle's like, Jesus Christ, I was just hanging out here all the time.
Okay, you better not be complaining about the rain, because this is the nicest road walking we have had since I've been here.
No corn.
There's no corn. We are in the forest-ish.
Make...
At least it's a little green belt by the river.
We're going through Department of Correction lands. Like, literally, this isn't forest. There's signs, do not enter, you are subject to arrest. And there's a giant-ass train track right there.
Okay, there are trees and there are lush plants that are not corn. My standards have been lowered.
Do I need to pull out the picture of you yelling at the cute little corn again?
Oh. Also, it is like the perfect temperature. There is not blazing sun. This road is pretty low traffic.
So per a note in the guide, this is all that remains of the first state capitol. Basically everything else ended up getting wiped out by annual flooding, but they preserved this. Kind of reminds me of a mother-in-law house, but more of a dungeon variant. So we finally got another view of the Mississippi. The year we did it, last year, we couldn't take any of the side channels for very long because the river was so low, we always ended up running aground. This year, though, different problems. Yes, I am capturing the corn.
You've captured enough corn already.
This is why on that picture you were yelling at the cute little corn. These are baby corns. They're super nice and scenic. Those people don't need hedges. They're just lost in the corn. Andy, I hope all this corn doesn't awaken something. And welcome to Ellis Grove, home of a very well reviewed barbecue place called Wally's, which of course is not open today. Taters here, of course, has been very smug about that fact. So of course, Miss Vegetarian here, all she could eat is their sides, and half the time, like, the mac and cheese has bacon, everything else has some sort of meat, because they're like, what sort of weirdo are you not wanting meat? Yeah, we got a salad, it's got meat. We were just about to knock on the door of somebody when I noticed there was a UMC church next door that actually had a spigot outside, and that happened to be on. So we are filled up and we are headed on towards what looks like a dive bar pretty much in the middle of nowhere, which will be our evening fill up. Unfortunately, Jen is telling me they do not have onion rings. Granted, she hates onion rings for some reason, whereas I'm like, that's the closest thing you get to a vegetable in some of the southern states. I think it's good. But anyway, what was I talking about? 6:20. Unfortunately, my having us leave late, while it was very satisfying and got us around some lightning danger, has kind of messed up our initial plan here. I had a spot I had picked up by a fort historical site up ahead that backed up to a levee, and I figured there was a good chance I could find us a stealth spot back there. That is probably going to be pushing it a little bit since we have 3 hours more of daylight. We'll see what the roads are like. I mean, we can hike after dark, but like we were saying the other night, it's one thing on the levee, it's another if you're on a road. And obviously with the flooding everywhere, getting dry campsites can be a bit more of a challenge. The sandbars that Jen and I enjoyed so much on the Mississippi are apparently largely underwater this year. This isn't the Mississippi, this is another tributary, starts with a K. So many birds.
Yeah, I like this bridge.
There's one in Florida. It's like this, except like 7 miles long. It's awesome, unless you need to pee.
At least there weren't any cars on it.
So for now, we are pretty much just proceeding to the bar, and then we'll see what the situation is there. There is a B&B in Prairie du Rocher we could potentially go to per gen online. They were saying they were full. There's an American Legion post we could ask. Trying to get out to where we could camp would be another 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock hike probably, and I'm a little concerned about some of the roads and the fact we might have to figure out how to get on this levee which goes through private property, which that it seems like you're asking for trouble doing that in the dark. Moral of the story, don't sit around in a hotel room catching up on edits and waiting for the thunderstorms to quit. That Fort de Chartres, however you pronounce it, was where I was hoping to camp tonight, but like I said, that seems like it'd be pushing it a little bit much. That's a new one. Wonder what that's about. Okay, it looks like we have a plan, a little less than ideal. The B&B and Prairie du Rocher up ahead had a spot, so we're just going to use that. The other options were looking less ideal for other reasons, and this gets us a full 25-ish miles. Jen very much likes camping outside. I mean, we both do. She has come around to my view after we were looking ahead in the hotel that once we get to the Katy Trail, things are nice again. We just gotta manage to get through this kind of lead up / metro area. So we'll manage that however we can manage that, and just try and keep our miles up. I've actually been looking, and unfortunately this is all hillside. So even if we were willing to stop early before the city, I doubt that's going to work short of one of these houses letting us stay. As always, it is often difficult to get a hold of people later in the day once we realize where we're going to stay. But hey, it means we'll have a nice night hiking till dark, and then we can get moving a little earlier in the morning. Get another full day, get up to Columbia, which will set us up to get nearish to St. Louis. We have a stay with the parents of a trail angel that we met on the Mississippi, set up for inside St. Louis, and then pretty soon after that we will be on the Katy Trail, which apparently doesn't have set camp spots, but I'm pretty sure we'll be able to manage something. The funny thing is we had a river angel who had given us an offer, but again we thought we had a plan until the storms lasted a little longer than expected, so our stealth camp thing changed. And I'm just not willing to call somebody at 7 o'clock at night and go, oh hey, can you drive like an hour, come and get us? Even if they'd be willing. It's our choices that made the issue, so we pay for it. And there was a rather nice camp at a bridge back there, but that was just way too early to stop. 15-mile day. Psh. So trading miles for money for miles. So why would you not let somebody lick your windshield, Jen? I mean, come on, it's no hair off your back. Behold, the uncountable corn. And of course, the unfortunate thing about having a room at the next town is we do have to walk there, and it is going to be a little late and in the dark, but oh well. So this was going to be our water source. They didn't have much in the way of food, though. The Google map does show a fried frog, which Taters was not happy with. So for the record, the bar I wanted to stop at, not to eat a frog, but maybe to have a beer and make friends. We did make friends. They were really nice. That one drunk guy, he still didn't get that we didn't want to ride, but the friends are now trying to explain that to him. I did like how their first advice on how we could find a place to stay up ahead was to go to a different bar. And then when we explained we were going to a B&B, they're like, oh yeah, tell her we say hi. And Jen's like, who? And they're just like, just tell them people at the bar, and when we see her later, we'll go. Yeah. 9 o'clock. Just another 4 miles or so to go. And then we just got to find this B&B. We told the lady we'd probably be there 10 or 10:30. When I'm editing these, I'm watching them on a phone, but I can see the occasional flashes of fireflies. Unfortunately, it is very hard to capture them on film. Last night we had, it looked like thousands of them in the trees behind the lock, just going off constantly. It was really, really cool. And every attempt to capture it with my lowly phone, it was a bit too much. Jen's getting to see all the murder houses out here with me. Hey Jen, you want to go sleep in the basement there? I was watching this documentary called Blair Witch Project. I think the only thing I've explained to folks more than, yes, I'm actually hiking that to that, is no, I really wouldn't like to be flag packed. But more than that, no, I don't want to ride. I mean, part of me wants a ride. He asked 3 times. I kept saying, no, we're walking. He's like, yeah, but you want to ride? Now, if only people could be more like, hey man, you want a soda? You want a beer? Here, I have a hot dog. Not in a dirty way, an actual like hot dog, something like that. I got a lot of those on the AT. Again, not in a dirty way. What? Here go. That wasn't even an offer for a ride. That was somebody saying she would just be so happy if we would get in the back of her truck. And Jen didn't even see the gun she was waving around. And we are almost there. If somebody would stop giggling so much and walk a little faster. And 10 o'clock. And there have been no mosquitoes. This has actually been the most pleasant night hike I think I've done so far. And we are almost to the B&B. In fact, that might be it, Jen. So we cooked out back, but we are getting absolutely eaten alive by mosquitoes. So this is generally a very reasonable B&B, other than somebody decided that we're just going to put the toilet in the bathroom. You can't quite shit the bed, but very close. I don't think I actually would have been as entertained by this place if we had come in during normal hours.
Home sweet home for the night.